our overheating world. Scientists warn global temperatures are likely to surge to record levels in the next 5 years.
The World Meteorological Organization has warned global temperatures are likely to surge to record levels in the next 5 years, fueled by heat-trapping greenhouse gases and a naturally occurring El Niño event, where surface waters in the eastern Pacific Ocean become unusually warm. The WMO predicts a 66% chance that the annual global surface temperature will temporarily exceed 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels sometime in the next 5 years, and forecasts a 98% chance of a record-breaking high temperature. It also estimates El Niño and climate change together will fuel global temperature increase, and Arctic heating is predicted to be more than 3 times higher than the global average. This report does not mean that we will permanently exceed the 1.5 degree level specified in the Paris Agreement. However, the WMO is sounding the alarm that we will breach the 1.5 degree level on a temporary basis with increasing frequency. Higher temperatures will have far-reaching repercussions for health, food security, water management and the environment. The update says we need to be prepared. It goes on to discuss how to strengthen weather and climate services to support climate change adaptation. And it aims to stimulate discussion on prioritising new initiatives to protect people from increasingly extreme weather.
At least 8 people have been killed in Italy as rivers swollen by exceptionally heavy rains burst their banks, causing widespread flooding. The Emilia-Romagna Formula One race has been called off, and local officials are warning that the worst may be yet to come.
Non possiamo escludere che ci siano ulteriori superamenti degli argini, così come è accaduto ieri alle 16. Rinnoviamo l'invito a tutti i cittadini a rimanere lontano dai fiumi, a non accedere per alcun motivo ai locali interrati o seminterrati e per chi abita vicino al fiume a tenersi al primo piano e non scendere al piano terra.
Emilia-Romagna and its neighbouring region Tuscany are the worst affected in Italy, but parts of Croatia and Bosnia have also been flooded. There's been non-stop rain in the Bihać area of northwest Bosnia, with the entire Una canton threatened with floods. Water levels have risen dangerously in the Una River. In Croatia, soldiers were filling in sandbags to be delivered to citizens living along the Krka River, and pumps were brought in. The Krka National Park was closed to visitors for the first time in its history.
Ukraine claims to have recaptured 20 square kilometres of ground from Russian forces around Bakhmut. The devastated eastern city has been an epicentre of intense fighting for months. But despite the alleged claims, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky insists that his country's long-awaited counter-offensive has still not yet begun. Meanwhile, in the southern city of Mykolaiv, several buildings were damaged by Russian shelling on Tuesday night. The city's mayor said 6 apartment blocks were hit, as well as an industrial facility. Firefighters and emergency workers raced to put out the fires and search for residents beneath the rubble. This Kyiv military hospital is hundreds of kilometres away from the front line, but staff here are faced with the reality of war every day. Doctors say they're increasingly stretched as more and more of their colleagues are being sent nearer to the front line.
The date of the next European Union elections is decided. People from across the 27 member states will have the chance to vote between the 6th and 9th of June 2024, where all 705 members of the European Parliament will be chosen. And the institution's president, Roberta Metsola, is already encouraging people to vote.
European Union democracy is more important today than ever. Your vote matters. It will decide the direction our union will take. It will decide what Europe you want to see.
Election day for most countries will be Sunday the 9th of June next year. But others, like the Netherlands, traditionally vote during the week. In most member states, EU election campaigns are about internal politics. But in recent years, there's a trend towards some of the bigger European issues.
There are big European issues that are interesting for the citizens in all 27 member states, such as the economy, such as the environment, such as the energy prices, which have affected all of the citizens, but also the security. You know, we now have security concerns on our eastern frontier, so I think all of these 4 issues, plus, of course, the jobs, are also important for the citizens across the EU. So while the campaigns will be fought on national level by national parties, I think the concerns are harmonizing across the continent, and we will have more European elections than before.
Next year's campaign is said to be the first since the European Parliament corruption scandal, where a handful of MEPs allegedly tried to influence decision-making in exchange for money. Although it's not yet clear how far the scandal will erode the electorate's trust in EU institutions, some experts say the impact could be limited.
All parliaments are confronted with various, let's say, issues, such as the target in the case of the European Parliament, which of course has an impact on the trust in the institution, even though it is just about a handful of MEPs that have been involved. So I think the impact will be there, but still I think the citizens are aware that we're talking about a handful of persons and not about the institution as a whole.
For many, it's too early to talk about any possible election outcome. The recent trends show that mainstream parties like the European People's Party and the Socialists could lose some influence to the far right and far left.
A final takeoff. The Romanian Air Force has bid farewell to the MiG-21 Lancer fighter jets after more than 60 years of service. The aircraft will be preserved at an airbase in Bacău, in the east of the country.
De mâine va poposi probabil într-un hangar. Apoi îl vom înfige în țepușe, prin sensuri giratorii și în fața unor primării. Pentru noi va rămâne unic. Pentru noi este cel care a construit pilotul de vânătoare român. Așa cum spunea cineva de mult, cel mai frumos avion la verticală.
Vă rog să-mi permiteți, în calitate de ultim comandant al escadrilei Lancer de pe Borcea, să raportez misiune îndeplinită. Am onoare.
Former MiG pilots also came to say their goodbyes.
Tuturor opiniilor că este un coșciuc zburător, că cum numeau alții, tigăi. Noi ne-am făcut treaba și eu consider că este avionul care ne-a băgat în NATO.
Faptul că această aeronavă a fost în exploatare peste 60 de ani e meritul celor care au iubit acest avion.
The first MiG jets arrived in Romania in 1962, and since then 400 have been flown for the Romanian army. In the 1990s, more than 100 aircraft were upgraded to become compatible with NATO equipment. F-16 fighter jets are set to replace the Soviet-era MiGs, providing more modern and capable defence mechanism. Manchester City will face off against Real Madrid tonight in the highly anticipated second-leg Champions League semi-final tie at the Etihad. The teams are vying for a place in the final in Istanbul, where Inter Milan awaits. Pep Guardiola's side claimed a 1-1 draw in the first leg in Madrid, with Kevin De Bruyne cancelling out Vinicius Junior's opener. City's red-hot form and home advantage means they head into the game as slight favourites, but Real Madrid's head coach Carlo Ancelotti insists his players are up to the challenge.
Lo conozco muy bien, el día de mañana será el día de la preocupación, del mal pensamiento, que te va a marcar adelante, que te va a tirar De Bruyne desde fuera. Tienes que manejar tu cabeza a pensar positivo y no negativo.
Ancelotti is expected to have a full squad to choose from as the defending champions set their sights on clinching a record-extending 15th Champions League title. Real and City have faced off a total of 8 times, each side winning 3 games apiece with 2 draws.
The 76th Cannes Film Festival opened on Tuesday evening with French superstar Catherine Deneuve a guest of honour on posters and the red carpet. The southern French coastal city once again welcoming the best in the business from around the world. The honorary Palme d'Or this year has been awarded to American actor Michael Douglas. An award Swedish filmmaker Ruben Östlund says he'd pick any day over an Oscar. He is the 2023 president of the festival jury. On the red carpet, Östlund was surrounded by other members. 9 actors and directors will choose from 21 films the winner of the Palme d'Or, the highest prize awarded at the festival. Jean du Barry was this year's opening film, traditionally presented out of competition. It features an astonishing cast with Johnny Depp as Louis XV, surrounded by French actors.
Ne pensez-vous pas qu'il serait temps de changer de vie?
Pour aller où?
Jean du Barry veut que je vous présente au roi.
La comtesse.
Directed by French actress and filmmaker May Wen, it tells the story of the king's favourite mistress who frees herself from the conventions of Versailles. It's Johnny Depp's first major on-screen role since his controversial defamation trial with ex-wife Amber Heard. Following the screening, the film received a 7-minute standing ovation.
Le plus grand festival du monde présente donc pendant 12 jours le meilleur du cinéma mondial venu des 5 continents. Des films de grands noms du cinéma comme Martin Scorsese, Wim Wenders ou Koreeda, mais aussi des nouveaux venus, notamment d'Europe et d'Afrique. Des films indépendants, d'auteurs, mais aussi des énormes blockbusters comme Indiana Jones, qui sera présenté ce jeudi sur la Croisette en présence d'Harrison Ford. Bref, une pluie de stars et de talents, la crème de la crème du cinéma d'aujourd'hui et de demain. Au Palais des Festivals de Cannes, Frédéric Ponsard pour Euronews.